So I just want to go over the essentials of the situations with Mr. Trump so you understand what is real and what is not real, because you can't get this on television or newspaper news. You just can't. So number one, I don't know what he did or did not do. I couldn't possibly know. I don't know whether he's guilty of bank fraud or taking classified documents. I don't know. Okay? So I'm upfront about it. I can't acquit him. I can't convict him. Here's what I do know. That Attorney General Letitia James of New York State is a far left person who campaigned to get, G-E-T, Donald Trump. And it took her 3 years, and she finally came up with a civil lawsuit of bank fraud. Okay. I also know that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, remember, James is the state attorney general. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office, where this bank fraud allegedly happened, wouldn't bring anything. And this is an extremely left-wing DA, Alvin Bragg. They dropped it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The other thing, and I got all kinds of emails and texts from my liberal friends saying that Letitia James did not have the power to indict Trump criminally for bank fraud, which is just false. And I wrote that back. I said, that's wrong. If an attorney general is investigating anyone in any state and criminal activity appears that the attorney general believes you can prove, you got to charge him with a crime. Have to. That's your oath. Okay? So that's all bull. And finally, the reason she did charge him civilly is because it's a lot easier to get a conviction civilly. And this thing's never going to get into a courtroom in a million years. They'll settle it. But two other things. If there were bank fraud, why aren't the banks involved with the civil lawsuit? Why aren't the banks involved? They could be on the suit. They're not. And I'll tell you why. They got all their money back. The Trump organization repaid all the bank loans. So there's no victim. Banks aren't victim. Banks made money. Right? So where's the crime? And Trump says, and I haven't verified this because I can't possibly verify it, that on each bank application that the Trump organization made, there was a disclaimer. This is what Donald Trump said last night. And the disclaimer said, look, these are our valuations of our property, but you got to make your own. If that's true, there's no case because the bank accepted what Trump told them in the application and gave him the loan, and then Trump paid it back. Does it make any sense to you at all that you would file a $250 million lawsuit with all of those facts that I just told you? No. It makes no sense at all. But there is a reason. And I'm going to come back to that reason in a moment because it's extremely important. Now, on the prosecution itself, Bill Barr, no fan of Donald Trump, the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, he said this, go.
It's hard for me not to conclude it's a political hit job. And this is a woman who campaigned for office saying that, promising she was going to go after Trump, which I think is a tremendous abuse of office to go headhunting and targeting individuals. So I think she was targeting Trump. And this is, after 3 years, a civil lawsuit, the gist of which is that when the Trump organization borrowed money, Trump personally guaranteed those loans. And to support that, she's claiming that he inflated his assets on his financial statements. Now, I'm not even sure she has a good case against Trump himself, but what ultimately persuades me that this is a political hit job is she grossly overreaches when she tries to drag the children into this.
That's the best analysis you'll see right there. And again, Barr's no friend of Trump. Now, why did Letitia James do this? It goes to the gubernatorial race in New York State. James is buddies with Governor Kathy Hochul, pals. Hochul is in trouble. The Republican Lee Zeldin running against her is gaining on Hochul. Hochul's messaging, her TV commercials, is all about how Zeldin and Trump are buddies. Not issues that pertain to New York State. It's trying to demonize Zeldin by linking Trump up to him because Trump is not popular in New York State. That's what this is about. 5 weeks before the gubernatorial vote, we'll get Trump and demonize him more in the heads of the New York voters so they vote for Hochul over Zeldin. That's what this is about. This is called the Democratic machine. This is what they do. So here in New York State, we have quality of life decline unprecedented, violent crime streaking, highest taxes in the nation, out of control transportation. People are afraid to go on the subways. The traffic, it takes 2 hours to go 20 miles. Kathy Hochul has no clue how to solve anything. She's one of the worst governors in the country. And that's beyond any reasonable doubt. She's behind the no bail law that lets violent criminals out on the streets. She gave a no bid contract to a New Jersey man who donates money to her campaign. The man receives state funds, hundreds of thousands of dollars, for COVID testing. I mean, this is a woman who's corrupt off the chart. Zeldin's coming up in a very heavily Democratic state. So Letitia James steps in. This is just dirty. It's just awful. Now, I hope Lee Zeldin beats Kathy Hochul. I hope no one votes for Kathy Hochul. What are you voting for? More dead people in the streets? Is that what you're voting for? More slashes on the subway? Higher taxes that are killing working men and women in New York, which has lost 3 million people in the last 7 or 8 years? Is that what you're voting for? You want more of that? I don't care if Lee Zeldin goes camping with Donald Trump. I couldn't care less. I want somebody to solve some problems in this state. I live here. So anyway, I hope you're getting the complete picture now. You will get it nowhere else. You will get it nowhere else, which is why you watch and listen to the No Spin News.